It's to go to her home and do some stuff at her home, but yeah. So I hope everybody is well. I've got a couple people in line so far. It's the last Sunday of 2024. It goes by so quick. Let's see. I've got Christina, and then I know you're driving, and then I have Ryan and Jeep. I think that's your screen name right now. Just muting all my. Is it Camel now? Wait, is Camel aka Jeep? Am I getting that right? Oh, Mariana, hello. Gabby, hello. Okay, I've got several of you here. Okay. Hi, Brian. Okay. All right. So then I'm gonna start making the list. I've got Christina, I've got Brian for 2. And then I've got Gabby. Gabby's with a Y or an I? I'm gonna put an I. Hi, CB, how are you? And then I've got Mariana. So if you get my newsletter, and Camel, I'm pretty good. We're just, wrapping up the year. I still need to do some figures and stuff to figure out for donating. And then I will give you guys a total next weekend or in an email to tell you how much we donated this year. Yeah, that's what's going on here. My mom's here. Did a little ice skating show on. So when I got into ice skating, my eyebrows are really light. When I got into ice skating, sorry, observations. I did not I was basically I was doing this thing with the synchro team. I go Wednesday nights, but I'm not on the team. I just go to take lessons. That's what I agreed to. And then they were like, oh, we've got these exhibitions. Do you want to be a part of the exhibition thing? So I was like, okay. Hi, Julia. So it's not competitive. It's just for little Christmas shows and stuff. And so, I feel like when you go watch I don't know if you have kids, you go watch your kids and they're little and they do their dance recitals and it's just it's good for them. That's how I feel. So yeah. It's fun and I'm learning. So that's what I did this weekend. We do Christmas and Hanukkah. Not Hanukkah, it's just a lot to do both. Okay. Yes. Oh, you donated for 2? I only saw 1. I probably looked at it wrong. Oh, I see. You did put in 2 now. I think I might have you for 3. No, 2. Okay. Oh, weird. Okay. All right. I'll update the list then. So I'm going to answer Christina's. She's driving. And then we'll go through the rest. Oh, Christina, you're there. You didn't miss your question. I'm late. I just started. Okay. So you asked about if it's in your best interest to go to this reunion. So I'm going to sit here with my little stone and connect in. If you didn't get my email, you should join my emails because I put little tips and things at the beginning. I've been trying to give value to them rather than just tell you this is what I'm doing. So I gave a little tip for it's called a black new moon because it's the second new moon in a month. So it's called a black new moon. And it's also the very last new moon of 2024 before we welcome in 2025. So it sort of symbolically holds a lot of energy. Okay, Julia. So I gave like a tip on like releasing anything that you don't want to bring with you into 2024 and doing that with like I'm grateful for it. If you got the email, this is a little bit more full, of course. So get the emails. Go sign up for an email, get your 5 free manifesting tips. And I just said basically do a ritual of like intentionally releasing relationships energetically and behavioral patterns and things that you no longer want to have anymore, and do that with gratitude because they did help you, right? They helped you learn lessons and grow and all of that. And then either can either burn it or write it on a paper and bury it in the ground if you're not comfortable burning something safely. Obviously, that you should do it safely. Um, And then when you burn it, when you're done burning it, one thing you can do is like if you have like your little like I have a mini cauldron, and so I'll pour water into it and then I'll throw that into the bushes because that'll help feed the plants. um and then yeah, on my website, Christina, you can get it on my website. And then I said the next thing you can do for welcoming in is say your affirmations into your water of like, ready to welcome in what it is you want in life. And then when you're finished with it, what did I say? When you're finished with it, just kind of know that it's done, it's set in place, and you don't have to worry about it again. One thing you could do is if you want to like be able to like check off like and go like, yeah, I manifested that. This came true. This came true. Is like make a little list and tuck it away somewhere. But that like the power and the energy of it goes into you, right? So like I'm really ready to welcome in this new self-concept or whatever. You can be very, very specific, which I would. And I'm always saying my affirmations into my water now anyway. So all right, Miss Christina. Let's go with your question. Okay, sounds good, Mariana.
I didn't get that.
Shh,
Could you try?
sorry. Okay. All right. So, okay. So I feel like I heard yes, but it feels like it will be more about a learn like so Christina had asked if she should go to this work reunion. So I feel like yes, and it's more about you having a moment or a period of time to see how far you've come, and see how far you've grown. So it almost feels like it settles it for you. Like if there was ever any doubt or any wonder, it feels like this experience will settle that curiosity for you, right? So it'll help you. I feel like I want to say like that there's this like I don't want to be too specific because this becomes personal and I don't want to share that so much, but it's like, where like somebody will say something finally and you're like, oh, like I see that for what it is. I'm no longer like totally emotionally invested in it. It's like it gives you this chance to observe a connection and observe yourself and recognize how far you've come. So it feels like if you want that opportunity to do that to really solidify like a finality, it's a good opportunity to do that. And it's not because it's like there's this big fight or terrible thing that occurs. It's just an awareness that happens as you go through that experience. Hi, Paul. You're going to something? I'm so lost. Okay. You're welcome, Christina. So yeah, that's just what I feel about it. It's not like it feels like I mean, you'll be fine if you don't go, but it would give you a chance to have that if you do go. And I do feel like you'll have fun because I can see you laughing. Like I can hear your laugh. So I do feel like it'll be fun, but I also feel like it gives this like awareness that might be beneficial. Oh, Times Square. I read Times Squiggle. So I did. It's like or Times Squiggle. Um, I think you are a brave person to want to go to Times Square. That doesn't. I'm kind of one of these people that doesn't really appreciate the traditional New Year's celebrations because I feel like many things that we do, there's this buildup that it's gotta be something, this, like, incredible experience, and then it's usually, like, a kind of a letdown. So I like low key. So we stay here, my family, and my mom's always here, and usually fish is on in the background because they do a show at the garden, and my husband is a fish head, and we play games or, whatever, just hang out, do crafts. So that's like we're kind of low key. Anytime I've ever done like that, going out, the one I will say the 2000 one was fun. I had a few friends over at my apartment. It was in college in 1999 going into 2000, and so we just got drunk and decorated a tiny Christmas tree with, I think it was Busch beer or Natty Light, terrible college beer cans. They were blue and silver. It looked pretty. It was stupid. Anyway, okay, go moving on. Um, but I hope that you have a brilliant time in Times Square. I just all of the people and seems overwhelming to me, but that's also my own, you know. I have a like-ish hate relationship with Times Square. I like the awkwardness and weirdness of it. Uh and like definitely people watching, but also too many people. Okay, and then Julia said she got one. And so, okay, Brian, what are your questions? Hi, Allie. I'll add your question to or you into the queue too. Allie, I always do an I and I think you do it with a Y on here. So I'm gonna try and get myself straight. And then I'll probably mess it up. Ugh. Sorry if I messed it up. Oh, you did it with a Y. I do it with a Y. Yes. Okay. I got it right. Okay. What message do you hear what message do you need to hear most now? Oh, I like that. That's a good question. So as I took a deep breath, I heard take care of yourself. And I'm just noticing the sensations in my own body. And I felt really anxious and kind of like in my solar plexus chakra, that's how you relate to the world, how the world relates to you and your self-esteem. I just feel like I spend a lot of time worrying about outcomes, worrying about what people think. And I heard unnecessarily. Um, there's a gentleman coming through for you. And he's saying like he's actually the one sharing the message. And it's this he's hugging you and giving you a kiss here on your cheek, and he's saying um he said, I love you so much, and you are an angel on earth, and you need to give to yourself what you gave to me. He's saying I couldn't see all of you then, and I can now. What is the significance of roller skates? It's really important. I feel like the hug is so necessary that you've really been needing that. Um, I don't know why I saw roller skates. So this might come up as a validation at a point. Maybe someone talks about going roller skating, or you see like a roller skate keychain. I know that sounds weird, but there's just something that, and like if we were in the 80s, it'd be like roller skate keychains are everywhere, but I feel like they're not that common. So there's just something about a roller skate. I mean, I saw it very clearly. Uh, like, who's the hockey team that has? Is it the Red Wings? Is that their symbol? It looks like a wheel with a wing on it. Is that theirs? Yeah. Somebody a Red Wings fan? The Flyers? Is that it? No, I think this is what I saw. Hang on. That's what I saw. Whoop, whoop. That. Is somebody a hockey fan? It's like, that seems like that might be important. I mean, I know a little bit about hockey, not much, a little bit about the teams, but like nothing about any of the players or anything. So it might come up again. It might be something that just like will show itself to you somehow as being another validation. It could even be like overhearing a conversation and this specifically about the Red Wings or whatever, or seeing randomly running into somebody. I know it sounds weird, but it just feels like that's important for you to see that. There's a feeling of feeling very lonely recently. And he says, this too shall pass. And I feel like there's a pet coming into your life. I'm seeing a little kitty. Are you doing any kind of, that happens often. I will go outside after one of your readings and hear someone mention something. So I'll listen out for the Red Wings and skates. Oh, awesome. I'm seeing also maybe even, I don't know if you're going to be fostering a kitty, or there's a little kitty, and it looks like the one I'm being shown now, colors may not be everything. It might just get me to say kitty, but I'm being shown like, like the grayish brownish tabby. So not an orange tabby, but like the other color. I don't know why I keep thinking green, but they're not green. Maybe it has green eyes. It feels like there's going to be that, like this will be something to help you feel a little bit of connection and kind of bring up the energy. You have one. She's acting weird. Like currently acting weird, or just acting weird in general? Because currently could be she's feeling the energy, but in general, I can look at it that way. I'm seeing a kitten, like a baby. What's her name? Your cat's name? I'm seeing a kitten. Well, with her, I'm feeling a little bit of like, when you said her name, I feel a little bit of like tightness here. It's not like I can't breathe, but there's an interesting feeling to it. And I don't know, it's interesting to me. I'd also watch her kidneys, because I feel like maybe kidney stones. Like she's not drinking enough. And there's something about maybe her food has a little too much calcium in it. So I don't know if it might be something to look at, changing her little diet a little bit. And that's just a freebie because kind of wrote in. What's your second question? You took her to the vet and I'm correct? Okay. that she has stones, or there's something with her, like, I feel like like, maybe like an asthma-y thing, like, that's kinda what it feels like. "Why are you sleeping so much?" Immediately got blood sugar issues, immediately. Um, so I feel like if you even just flip your diet to being more like a diabetic diet where you really increase your fiber in every meal, which helps balance out any kind of carbs. So focus on fiber, fat, and protein. Start with your fiber. Her kidneys, no breathing problems. There's something there here where I feel like I don't know. It feels like maybe it's because of the kidney problems. It's creating a weird feeling like this. I'm like, I don't know what this is. It's just a weird feeling. Um, but so I feel like for you, interesting dual kidney problems. Also, the interesting part about the blood sugar stuff is that is in your like kind of your solar plexus area. So, but I would say really look at your fiber, fat, and protein, and really eating for that, and like doing like at least a 30-minute walk a day or 3 10-minute walks. Just movement actually helps pull the, it opens the doors basically for glucose to move into your muscles instead of staying around in your blood sugar. I I wouldn't say that I would say you're pre-diabetic. I wouldn't say you're pre-diabetic. But oftentimes we're symptomatic well before our labs will show that there's something wrong. You're very welcome. Okay. Gabby, you're up next. Thank you for supporting me and being a part of my years, Brian, because you've been here for a little while. I just have a message. Oh, sure. Just trying to work out what they're showing me. Oh, okay. So I saw something where at first I saw like the little green tubes in like Mario Brothers things. I almost felt like I was looking at the background of a Mario world, but then I was seeing something that looked more like a homemade Lincoln Logs. I don't know what all of that is about, but it was like a stripped tree trunk. Sorry, like I have to think of it upside right there. So like a stripped tree trunk lying parallel to the ground, so on the ground. But like then slices of a tree trunk making wheels. I don't even understand that. I don't know why. That's why I was like, I don't know what this is. Can you like move this along? And it was just this feeling of like them saying to me that it would be really, because I saw a picture of your son in my mind's eye. And then it's like this idea that you really need to focus on him and focus on the little wins instead of like the not better yet. And that it will help you pull you out and pull you through the day more. And sort of like, even if it's something little, getting excited about it. Same way I did when I with my patients, where I would say, like, or even with when I do ice skating, right? Where I'm like, it's little, but like, oh, I got my one crossover and it's not perfect and it's not great, but I was really excited for it because, again, it's just this like little thing, but it's still progress. So it feels like just trying to see the progress you're making rather than focusing on not being 100 yet. And I say yet because I do feel you're going to get to a space of feeling better. I feel like I'm gonna say this too. I feel like what you had asked me at one point about the other practitioner with the herbs and stuff. I do feel like you'll step into that using exploring that, maybe not all of them at once, but something in about 2 weeks or so. It feels like that becomes the right time. It feels like the other stuff is working, but not enough to make a significant difference. Or at least you don't feel like it's enough to make a significant difference. I almost wonder if the cold plunges or the cold stuff is like stressing you out more instead of helping, like stressing your body more instead of helping. Said I want to try them soon. We are just getting over the stuff. Ugh. Oh my God, did you get norovirus? That's going around, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Hand washing, hand washing, hand washing. It is hard to kill. So, hand washing. It's a beast. Um, you have trouble controlling my breathing, doing the cold plunge. So I think sticking with the sauna was best. Especially, yeah, it was horrible. I'm so sorry. Nobody likes a good old stomach bug. Okay. Mariana, what's your question? That's not what I wanted to do. I'm so sorry. I hope you get a break soon. You will. Not even hope. You're getting a break soon. I have a good feeling. Mariana, you are up. You're very welcome. Thank you for always trusting me. Hello, welcome, whoever's here. Let's see. I don't know if Christina's still listening. I'm going to try and count see who's lurking. My daughter Sasha is thinking of moving to Toronto next year after graduation with her boyfriend. Fabulous. Kidding. I say that jokingly. um, okay. So I feel like she will stay there. Is her boyfriend Canadian? I have a good feeling about him. They may be, I wouldn't be surprised if they get married. Yeah, I think she'll be there for a while. Hmm. Like a long while. And she'll be successful there. I think she really enjoys it. She won't like the cold very much. I think he's the one. That's the feeling I get. She won't like the cold very much, but I do feel like she really likes the people and the area, and yeah, I just don't think she'll like the cold. I do feel like she'll have to start the paperwork earlier than she thinks. And start looking for jobs, like, as soon as she graduates, or maybe even a little before. It just feels like that's gonna be important. She'll be very happy. I feel like he's a really good guy. I know that they decreased the number of people they're gonna be allowing in, so mhm. I can't believe your kids are old enough to be graduating from college already. I feel like I've known you since they were much littler. Thank you for trusting me for so long. Hi, Mr. Mansmith. How are you today? So crazy. All right, Camel, you're up. Will you be victorious? Sir, first of all, these are not free questions. These are $12, and I donate 30% to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. And that is how I run my business. Um, you're officially unemployed from January 1st, 2025. Oh, you did pay for a question? Let me see. I believe you. I probably missed it. So I want to look for my own eyeballs. I got you. It just didn't refresh after the last one. You're welcome. Thank you for understanding. Okay. So when do you see me in a career in 2025? March is feeling very significant. That was just what I saw first was March. Oh, what do I see for you for a career? Sorry. I thought you said when. I apologize. So March is really significant. Um, I still see kind of like the call center sort of style thing where because I feel like I'm in front of a computer with a little headset on. And I think you may even be able to do it partial from home, if not all from home. Um, because it's weird. I see like a cord leaning way out. So it feels like I'm at home, but I'm connected to the main thing. So it's like you may have to go in like once in a while. But it feels like it's actually better for you. It's not challenging and it's not exciting, but it's like, oh, I can get my work done. Excuse my yawn. It's not you. You guys are not boring me. I can get my work done, but I don't have to be like involved with all of the energies of the people at the office. And maybe it ends up being for like a telephone company. I know that sounds weird, but like I keep seeing telephone lines. March is significant. I would love to say like yes, for sure in March, but March is significant. That popped out for me, so it seems that feels good. Yeah. I want to say this. I don't feel like you're having financial issues. So I feel like whatever you have, whatever is going to come in from unemployment feels like it's enough. Or I don't know if you got like a sorry. Oh, what do they call it? Severance package. Yeah. So I feel like whatever you have, you'll actually be okay. I think it's such a strange world we live in. We have people who are like multi billionaires, and then like so many people are struggling and like worrying. It's so strange to me to live in a world with people that one person could totally take care of all of the homeless issues. They and have so much money left over, and yet they're looking for as many tax breaks as they can get. It's so, so weird to me. All right, so you have another ask. I had a reading with a client. She's my only client that I like have allowed to do monthly readings. I may start being okay with other people doing more frequent readings. She's not doing it in a weird, like make all of my decisions for me. She's still very grounded about it, so I think that's why I'm okay with it. Um, and I knew there was always a block for her getting to move jobs and getting something better for, because she's so incredibly talented and um, deserving of more accolades and such. And when we were talking yesterday, like she does a lot of more Q&A style than what my traditional readings are, just because I see her so frequently. Um, But, like, it kinda came out one thing she was worried about, because I was like, she's like, am I gonna get this other job? And then, like, something she was worried about along like, if that would, pass some of the background checks. She's a great person, whatever, but this is an interesting industry, so and I was like, "Yeah." But I was like, "Oh, that's your block. Like, that's it. That's that, like, underlying fear that's kinda keeping you and holding you hostage where you're at." And she's not woo-woo, which is so it's really funny that she comes to me a lot, but I guess I've been right enough. She's not woo-woo, and so, like, the manifesting thing can be a lot for her. It's not in her framework, which is fine. It's not, you know. Okay, anyway, so it was this, like, really interesting little block. So, like, sometimes we all have these, like sometimes you have to, like, talk it out to find it. I don't know. There's many planets changing in 2025. How will it affect your life? Uh I mean, let's be honest, there's always planets changing in 20 and like we're at this time frame where there's going to be significant changes for a while. Um I feel like I'm being turned around. So I feel like it's this idea of like I can't get specifics, but this idea of like sort of like your whole perspective on you're going to have a massive perspective shift is the feeling I get. Like I always saw things this way. This is always how it was, blah, blah. And then it feels like something happens. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, wait, maybe I had that all wrong. It's going to be a year for you of major awakenings and awarenesses. Um, like those aha moments of like being able to break through and finally feel less stuck, more progress. Um, it's definitely going to be a year of a lot of like creativity for you. So, like all that writing that you've been wanting to do, I feel like that's finally going to be like have momentum and like joy as you're doing it, not just, I want to do this to have like something to get me out of this situation. It's like just enjoying writing and being more creative. Um, I don't necessarily feel like, oh, I have massive financial freedom in 2025, but I feel like there's this feeling of not being so tied to that anymore. Like realizing the minute you realize, so I grew up poor. I talk about it a lot. Not a lot, but I did, and it created a lot of belief systems in me, and not like bad ones, just because I was never like, oh, I'm so poor and everybody else has. I was just like, oh, this is just like how life is, right? Like, I was very accepting of it. I wasn't like poor me. um, but it I still held on to a lot of like belief systems around not having a lot of money and the way not like we didn't have like my husband and I don't have fights about money at all, but like the way I would choose to spend money where I was like, oh, I don't have to be this cheap. Like I can, like that kind of idea of like I don't have to be so frugal. Like I can, we have wiggle room. Um it just feels like that of like going, oh, I'm not poor, like really sort of like looking at it differently. which that awareness sort of actually allows for more flow. I think you do will be changing the story, but I feel like it'll be enjoyable and you'll get it done. It'll be easy. So it's like all of these things that happen really are positive changes, and that I feel like by the end of 2025, beginning of 2026, you'll really have felt a great shift and change and be grateful for it. But I don't even necessarily, I don't know. It just feels like it's going to be pretty amazing. I heard monumental. I feel like 2025 is going to be good for you. I'm not talking about the books. I just said I just feel like that this is going to be a good year for you. Creativity, everything else. So I feel like you'll get a book published this year. So I do feel self-publishing. So take the momentum and go do it. Like, right? Just write a little every day. And then if you feel stuck in writing, edit. Like, always keep yourself busy in it. Julia, you're up. Then Allie, then CB. Let me just check. Sure. So if anybody's wondering, I am working on my psychic development course. I've got all the modules like outlined and everything else. So then I just have to start putting it all together, and doing some videos and some meditations and recording stuff. And then I'll be setting up to do where we meet bi-weekly. And I was thinking, depending on how many people sign up for it and how we do it, so there's help for time frame differences. I might have like where we meet once, where we meet earlier in the day and then like have different times so that you're not always like having to stay up late at night in order to participate. Yeah. I came up with some pricing. I asked a friend, like, what do you think about this? Like, who's, because you'll get a year worth of, so you'll get the self-study part of the 6 modules, and then you'll get a year's worth of like meeting up with me. So, oh, you donated for one more question. Okay. I really miss having Jen for sensible advice. I was wondering if she had a message for me going into the new year. Oh, this is interesting. She has a very funny sense of humor. Like, would she have told you to fuck off? Pardon my French. I feel like she probably wasn't really into the woo-woo stuff. I feel like she's very pragmatic. I don't know what British movie I feel like this is, but this is like the one who has no time for any of the love story stuff or the like ridiculousness. Like that feels like her. Was like, because I was like, okay, Jen, what? And it was like, oh my, she's like laughing. She's like, fuck off. And laughed more. Like I have things to do. Does she like to drink a little bit? Because she feels a little bit of like a little boozy lady. Yeah. Very realistic, black and white. I feel like she's enjoying her drinks. I don't feel like a drunk. I want to say that. I just feel like she enjoyed a nip here and there. And like as she went like this, I said a nip here and there, and she went and like showing me more in the glass than just a nip. Like, yeah. um, She's reminding you not to be too hard on yourself. Just don't be too hard on yourself. And also, I feel like maybe being a little bit more brazen or ballsy or um, like don't hesitate is the feeling I get. Don't hesitate in life. Just just be bold and make your decisions and do them like without apology. You had lots of drunken nights out and and a terrible drink at that. Vodka is terrible. I never understood anybody drinking vodka unless it was mixed in something. Um, she liked your horses. There's one, I don't know. Mm, I'm seeing one, and I want to say it's big, but it's a horse. Horses are big. Do you have a horse that's like 15 or 16 hands? Um, and I'm just seeing like I see a blanket on it, and then this little like I don't know if it's a spot or a squiggle on its nose, and it's otherwise it's darker, maybe a chestnut or darker. I don't know. I watch horse talk on TikTok. I like I'll follow horses, but I just keep seeing it. So if I'm in the horse's body, it's going to be my right front leg, but it's like it's extending its leg towards me. So I don't know if there's an issue right at that. What do they call that area? It's not the hoof. It's like just slightly above it. It feels like a joint or a tendon, maybe. She was a cop, which was so far out from what we expected. Yes, regarding the horse. Okay. So is there an issue with the right leg? Like a tendon issue or because that's what she's showing me is the horse, and the horse is like putting its leg out to show me that. And oh, that was her horse. Okay. And it was like 15, 16 hands because it feels like a bigger one. It doesn't feel like a small horse. I mean, it's not huge like a Clydesdale or anything, but Sally did her tendon on that leg. Okay. Okay. Is the horse with her or is the horse still living? $15 hands. Okay. I like when animals come through. It's with her. Okay. Well, she's with her horse. She's just making me feel like she's really happy. I have to see what dun color is. I don't know what that is. Mm. Oh, very pretty. So pretty. Was there like a spot on her head? Horses are so magical. I was never I mean, I liked horses when I was little, but like not like but like the more I watch them, I'm like, "Oh my god." So, well, I'm glad that was helpful for you. The horse like kisses because I just feel like I heard it like make a little And like, just like, I feel like the softness of its nose. Oh, a white star. Okay. I was like, there's something here. And then I felt like darker hair. So I was like, I don't know if it's like a darker horse or, yeah. I just felt, and she just, I feel like she liked to give kisses or kind of boop you with her like softness of her little nose area, mouth. So, she said, we're all good here. She goes, I heard they're good. And then I heard we're all good here. You train them to give kisses for minutes. Oh, that's so cute. Well, thank you for trusting me with her energy. Thank you for the compliment. She was awesome enough to come through with such clarity, which I greatly appreciate because it helps when they do. Okay, we'll move on. Is that okay with you? Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Julia. Allie, what is your question, dear? Oops, I put a J there, but that should have been erased. Is there anything my guides want to tell me? Sorry, you're very, very welcome. Just leave CB here. Okay. Okay. Oh, I don't want that. Yeah, I want that. I want my comfort rock. Okay, what does Allie need to know? I'm laughing only because you have some funny guides. They were just not. They weren't saying anything important. I want to clarify that. It was just like, um, oh, this is interesting. So, I almost feel like there was like a funny joke or whatever, but I really feel like they're doing a lot of your, and this is in turn probably some of the healing work you've been doing in the last couple of weeks. Is they're really like kind of hugging you and holding you the way you would like a little kid and telling them how good you're doing and you're doing such a great job and we're so proud of you. We love you so much. And I feel like there's probably been a shift then because yeah, your guys. I feel like there's probably been a big shift then on how you've been internally processing things and speaking to yourself in the last few weeks. Like you've actually made that jump to really paying attention to your thoughts in the last couple of weeks and really like speaking kindly to yourself and giving yourself grace for when you're not perfect, because that's what I'm feeling, and usually they'll mirror the kind of energy that's happening for you. Does that resonate? Why is that on the ground? Sorry for the yawn again. Oh, not really. Well, that's what I felt. Maybe that's coming then with them doing that. So I've been pretty grumpy. Well, that's okay. It like here's the thing. I think when you go through this process of doing any kind of inner work and growth, you feel like, well, that means I'm supposed to be happy and wonderful every day. And it's not. I also think energetically, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of energetic shifts happening. where people are really, there's going to be a lot of, in the first like 2 months of like from now to like February of 2025, there's going to be a lot of shifting, like a lot of people releasing and letting go of things that don't work for them. Like there's going to be big energetic shifts. There's still some political stuff coming up, but I feel like this is kind of stepping into stuff. Hi, emotional intelligence. And so I was gonna say is like, so like I was like crying earlier today just because like it's sort of like this letdown, like not like poor me, like listen, sometimes we all just need to like let shit go. And it just like comes out that way. And it's like, okay, well, move on. Like, but like give yourself time to process stuff and like not have great days every day. That's okay. Emotional intelligence, these are paid readings. And I can, let me share the link if you want to purchase a reading. They're $12 and I donate 30% to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. And that is the link. So I feel like this is going to be your year coming into like really making some big shifts and growth and changes. I thought about like, so I said the thing like this woman had this really small thing where I was like, oh, that's what's keeping you stuck there. It's not necessarily worth or deserving. It's this fear that this little thing is going to make you not enough, right? Or not like, so it is, I'm not enough, but understanding the core of where that's coming from, what's holding you stuck. And so even with your stuff, like, right. So it's like, I feel like some of those things are going to come to light where you're like, oh, I don't need to hold on to that anymore. That's so silly. Like big awareness moments over the next, like through February. You're welcome, emotional intelligence. You've been cleaning up a lot lately. Perfect. I usually feel like I can't, so I don't get to do it. Yeah. So just, it's also like I know you're ADHD, so it's like looking at how you're doing stuff instead of shaming yourself for like not having the motivation. Understand like there is an actual brain thing there. So then instead of like thinking I have to get it all done, and then it becomes overwhelming and you get frozen, be like, okay, I'll just do like 5 minutes instead of timer and do 5 minutes. And like then if you don't have any more, you did 5 minutes, great. So instead of like being like, what the fuck is wrong with me that I can only do 5 minutes, like be like, oh, that's good. Like I made progress. And be okay with that. Like not everybody has the capacity to like, I mean, I've known people who love cleaning and organizing and it's like their life, like their life. And there's nothing in their brain that stops them from doing it. There's nothing in their brain that gets overwhelmed by it. Like they just, and it's okay to not get to everything. Exactly. There's such a huge sense of freedom when you start going, oh, I don't have to get it all done. Like, who says I have to have it perfect? Who put that idea in my head? Okay, CB, you're up. And then I think we might be done. I've been bumping into old stuff and I'm reminded what I've done in life. Yes, I had this. So my stepmother years ago gave me a cookbook that had like family recipes. So some of her family and some of my dad's side of the family, but ones that I like. But I forgot that my dad had made copies of like some recipes. So there's like stuff in his handwriting, but there's stuff in my grandmother's handwriting. And I was so excited to see that. So I ran into these copies because my husband was trying to go get the new license where you need like all these different documents and he couldn't find his birth certificate. So I was looking through all of my stuff just in case, like I didn't have it, whatever, but like looking for it. So I found these recipes that I've forgotten some of my files and I was like, oh, so I'm going to laminate them because I don't want them to like age anymore. I want them to stay. So I have my grandmother's handwriting. I got a brief reading from a social media astrologer within the last 2 days, and he mentioned me needing to be more disciplined to receive a blessing in the home. What the fuck? Okay, sorry. I'm trying to figure out what he meant. Do you like my response? What the fuck? I'm sorry. Okay. I'm not trying to say that people are. Hmm. You're welcome, Allie. Hang on, so I can see why they are comforting me because I'm bumping into the same. Oh, well, that's okay. That's what you needed. Maybe that's also a reminder. That's what you need to be doing for yourself a little bit more, is being a little bit more gentle and understanding. And like, just because we're in these grown up bodies and we have these grown up brains and we do all these grown up things all the time doesn't mean there's a part of us that's that little kid that still needs a little bit of extra love and hugs and healing in order to like process whatever we didn't get when we should have gotten that, and like, and able to like then for our brain to move forward and grow. Okay, so I'm going to say this. I need you to listen to it. This is for everybody. Remember that as readers, we are filters. So it's not projecting, but it is, we can be limited. You're very welcome, Allie. We can be limited by how we are able to deliver a message by our own life experiences and filtering through those life experiences. So I'm laughing because I'm like, oh, I don't think like sometimes I'm going to say this. If you get a reading from somebody, me included, it's okay to say, can you be more specific on that? Because like, I guess I'm not really understanding what you're saying. Because my mind goes to, this is not my psychic mind. This is just helping you guys, like, because I know I'm not the only reader that exists. Like, and I think it's super healthy to like always get different perspectives, especially if you feel like whatever, and like it never hurts, right? I encourage you to try not to like super hop around and like constantly getting readings and stuff, because then that means you're not trusting in your own power and you're constantly looking outside for outside validation, right? Um uh and not to say that he shouldn't do tarot if he's doing astrology, but I feel like intuitively he's actually a much better astrologer than a tarot reader. Um, Hi, Kieran. They're $12 a question, and I will link I don't have it pinned. Let me go pin the payment. And 30% gets donated to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. And I would be happy to give you a reading. So I'm going to read this again. So, okay, so remember the filter part. I also feel like language is really an interesting thing. I'm going to read this again. I'm going to say this. I feel like he's full of shit. I feel like he's full of shit. I'm going to say that because I feel like that's just a throwaway reading. I feel like, and I know sometimes I do readings where it's really vague. I'm like, I know this is really vague, but this is what I'm getting. But I still feel like I try to like really explain it and take the time to like, this is how I'm feeling it. I don't understand. Maybe this is something you should be looking for validation in it. The Chariot reversed. It's not that I don't care for tarot. So I want to say this because I think there's some really fucking brilliant tarot readers out there. So I just don't use it more so because um, I I trust my own intuition more when I'm giving reading for somebody else. For me, sometimes I use the tarot cards because I think they're fun, like for myself. But I was trying to look and see if I have a set down here because I want to like actually pull those out and look at them. I don't think I have a set down here. I think I brought them all upstairs because I was messing around with them. So I like tarot for and I think I think there's some really great tarot readers. I also think sometimes I use tarot as a crutch because because they're just it's a way to get out of your left brain. Yeah, I'm like thinking about my sides of the brain in order to like connect with your intuition, right? So like hopefully what somebody does when they pull a tarot is that they're initially looking at it, but then jumping and kind of going. So like I like that guy Minopont Tarot on YouTube. I like Baba Jolie on YouTube. I have some friends that do great tarot readings and they're great with them. So I don't hate tarot, but I see more often than I do see some tarot readers, many tarot readers who I don't know. I don't feel like they're reading them right. So, upside down chariot and a pentacle, 8 of Pentacles upright. I'm trying to think of what the cards look like. Let me just look at them really quick. Um, okay, so I like the Light Seers Tarot deck, so I'm going to show you this one. And that's the 8 of Pentacles. So when I look at that, I think about I'm sitting here and I have so many possibilities around me, right? I have all of these possibilities just sitting there waiting for me to decide. And then she's holding a half burning candle. So it's like she's almost like meditating on it. She's almost like looking at it to see where these blessings are going to come from. Right. And what is it? It's like all these choices. And what do I really want? So then let's look at the Chariot reversed. So this is just what I think of when this is how I read. I don't know how anybody else. Would I be able to ask for a clarifier on this question, sir? Oh, see, I wouldn't even read that at all the way he read it. So when I look at it, it's like, I feel like, okay, so I see this, they're rushing and they're racing to get somewhere. It's happening fast. And if it's reversed to me, that's the opposite of that, right? So it's like, it's either, right? It's like, slow down, don't rush so fast. The opportunities are there. The opportunities are here. They're for the taking. And all you have to do is decide it. There is no rush. You don't have to race through this. So I don't see that to me as like, get rid of, how did you say it? Let me reread that. Being more, that to me, I don't read being more disciplined when I read the upside down chariot for blessings in your home. Maybe he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. I mean, I know there's someone that I'm mutuals with on TikTok, and he's a lovely man, and he's amassed a huge following, and he's kind of a shit reader, to be honest with you. He's a very nice man, though. I don't even know if he really fully like believes what he's teaching other people, and yet he's like got this like huge following. And he's not like a shit reader because he's just really early in his abilities and development. So he's I shouldn't say shit reader. He's a novice reader. So he's like sort of limited. Not to be like, oh, I'm so amazing, but like there is something to be said that happens with experience. Like if you've watched Tyler Henry from the beginning when he was really young to now, I mean, he's developed and enriched himself so much. His readings are so much more evolved and different. And like just life experience gives you a different filter. And it could be a finance thing, but it's like it's literally like you don't have to rush. There's no racing through this. It might happen slower, like it's just slow yourself down. So he was saying what he said. Okay, he says what he says and moves on because okay, so he doesn't clarify. Um, uh, hang on. Would I be able to ask a clarifier? Just trying to prepare for any areas. Okay, that's what I got from the Pentacles card and research. Yeah, that's what I feel just even looking at it. I like there's several decks that I really like that are different than the Rider Waite. The Rider Waite's nice, but I also feel like it needed to be updated. So I like the Light Seers Tarot. And then there's another one because I feel like it's easier to interpret. There's another one I have. It's a newer one. I really like it too. And I can't think of the name of it, but it's more modern. And it's easier to like intuitively read kind of for yourself as you're doing, or even for others. Remember that when we pull a tarot card, or even when I do a reading, I'm just reflecting back the energy to you of what's out there and the possibility of the track you're on. I know that like sometimes you can't even see it. Like, so like I did a reading for my friend and client Meg. And when the first reading I ever did for her, I was like, oh, you're going to be going, I see you going to New York. And then she'd never been to New York. And like, then she started traveling. I was like, I see you on TV. She ended up being on a morning show, a local morning show. So it's like, some of that stuff doesn't even see that. They're like, oh, I see you not drinking, like, and doing all this stuff with it. So it's like, it's not necessarily there, but energetically it's a realm of possibility. I don't know. I don't know why it works the way it works. And there is a camel. There is a lot of bad tarot readers making a lot of money. There is. And here's the thing, and I'm not like everybody deserves to get their money however they get it. It's just my own moral compass is kind of like, I don't want to just, I could easily just roll through and charge people a whole bunch of money and do tarot readings online, like on TikTok, because people pay an insane amount there and just tell people whatever they want to hear or what's easy. But I feel like I have an obligation to my own abilities to practice with integrity. And even that like fucking Sloan Bella lady, like Jesus Christ, the amount of people she has following her. And she's fucking, I don't know. I'm just not the biggest fan of how she reads. I don't think it's discipline. I don't think it's about discipline at all. I think it's just about slowing and not feeling like a rush to have to make decisions, that all the possibilities and opportunities are there. It's just about you deciding, but there's no rush to do that. Just slow down, relax. They're not leaving you. The opportunities are not leaving you. That's what I get when I read that. So, maybe it's a circumstance of like him having too many energies at once. Maybe he's still very new at what he's doing. And maybe he's just kind of a shit reader. I don't know. But I don't see that as like you'll have a gift coming if you're more disciplined. I don't see that at all when I look at those cards. But maybe, who knows how he learned tarot or how long he's been doing it. I literally just heard like the saying, because I'm like, finances, like she's great with finances. And then I also heard like you can't squeeze blood from a turnip. So it's this idea of like you really do have everything allotted just perfectly. And so this idea of like needing to be more disciplined is insane. I think that's important. I'm trying to flourish with my clients too as they've dipped. Yeah. I like to think I'm disciplined, at least with my career. I think this idea that we're supposed to be disciplined, like what is that anyway? That feels like it's sort of like linked to white supremacy, to be quite honest with you, and colonialism, because it's like it's a way of controlling people. You got to be working all the time, and like you know, it's a way of controlling people. It's like this idea of like if I'm not perfect all of the time, like that I'm failing. And we have to allow ourselves room for just imperfection because you're human. Okie dokie. Anyone want to ask any general questions before I bounce off and go? My husband has a concert in the city tonight, so I have to make sure everybody's fed. Oh, you do have one last question. I'm sorry, Camel. Go ahead. Another person told me to stick to a Swedish publisher, and if they like the story, they will publish it in English, but you suggest that I self-publish. I'm not suggesting anything. I'm saying I think that that's what you're going to end up doing. I don't think it's where you're going to always be, but I think that's what you're going to end up doing initially. So I don't know, what is the saying? Shit from Shinola. I don't know anything about publishing, like literally zero. I just feel like that's the route you're going to go. You're welcome, CB. I think you're going to have like the kind of the basis of the story, but I think it's going to be changed a little bit. So I think you're going to I don't think you change it completely. I just see like this is sort of like the base of it, and then I change it to make it less personal or whatever. Yes, eventually. It's interesting because I feel like maybe it gets published and then something else does, which then brings more people to it. But I also feel like you really, so I want to, I cannot state this more for more enough people. And I have to take this advice too. If you are afraid of being seen, or you don't want to be too much, or you don't want to be out there energetically, whenever you create anything, it holds that energy and it stays very compact and tight, and it doesn't sparkle and shine and attract other people, right? It doesn't mean you have to put sparkles and lights on it, but it means energetically, people are drawn to things that are pushed out there with that energy to push things out there. I'm not talking about being afraid. It's not about fear. It's like, it's just this like not wanting to be seen kind of thing. There doesn't have to be fear around that. If you like to be the person that's on the wall and not noticed and not in like out there, or not to make too much of a fuss, when you energetically create something, it sort of holds that and is encapsulated in that energy. So it's this idea of like, start imagining yourself, instead of saying like, will this be this is super successful, my writing gets out there, people love my writing, people are drawn to my writing, I'm always told how great it is. It feels like it's really important you for to capture that energy, besides me just going, yeah, of course it is, because it feels like there's work that has to be put behind it to get it out there. I don't know, I'm not getting numbers or anything. It feels like it's very dependent on your energy as you're writing it and putting it out there, and like learning to believe in yourself. So it's like, as you're doing this creative work, make sure you're doing this, like that other work. I also feel like it's really important for you to get in some kind of like writers group. So it might even be online, where you share a little bit of your writing and you get feedback on it and edits that way. Because it feels like you might need a little help with character development. I feel like it'll do well, but this is what's interesting, is I feel like it's like I put it out there and it does okay, it gets some success, but I feel like it's like initially, so it's kind of like, some movies like don't do well, but then like they're cult classics. It feels like something like that. Like I put it out there initially, it doesn't do great, but it gets receive some, attention. And then like I write something else and then more people discover this, and like then it does better. So it's like an initial not so great, but like it comes back around to it. So it feels like it's really important for you to not look at this one and be like, oh, I shouldn't keep writing, but to like keep moving because the more you do something, the better you get at it, including writing and the like including practicing and opening up your creative brain. So it's like keep going. Don't give up on yourself. The other aspect I feel of it is too is like promote yourself, get on social media and get and start following other writers and other in that genre and other genres and look for writers tips and do that stuff. And also because algorithms really like they'll know who you are and how to push you out if you're follow the people that are like you and you interact with the people that are like you. So it feels like just starting making yourself known in the writing world and the book talk world or whatever on Instagram it is and or in other social medias and like commenting and before you've ever written your stuff, get known. So then when you're like, "Oh, I'm writing this book. Do you have any tips on blah blah blah?" Or like if there's like a feedback community on Facebook, get on that and like start getting because then you already have an audience. You already have people like, "Oh, we know this person. I'll read their book." Like, why not? It feels like doing that is really important. Okay? All right. Um, it may be Amazon, which will go to Kindle. Okie dokie. All right, I'm going to say goodnight if that's okay, because I've got my mom here and I've got to go make sure everybody's fed. And I hope that you all have a fabulous New Year's, and I will see you next year. Bye, Julia. Bye, Camel. Bye, everybody. I don't know who else is here still. CB. Thank you for supporting me through 2024 and previous years. Have a good one. Bye, Allie. I just want to make sure. I'm like, who else is here? Julia, Allie, CB, Mariana, Christina. Who else showed up? Brian. Can't remember everybody. Have a blessed, blessed, blessed New Year's.